Welcome to Velocity Podcast. Today I am out of my studio here in Port Dover with Chris Atkins. He is the local filmmaker, documentarian, traveler.
A bit of everything.
A bit of everything. Yeah. How's it going?
Good, good. Yeah, we're finally outside. It's a nice day to actually sit outside and do this. Mm-hmm. So great that you can bring your phone and do these kinds of things just anywhere you're
As a videographer, do you hate this?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It does make me cringe sometimes when if you're doing, say, a corporate gig and they're saying, well, why do you charge so much? Why can't you just use your phone? Yeah. I'm like, well, the phone is great in certain circumstances. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll give you an example. Just recently, we were doing some filming in England. And we show up at this place in England by St. Paul's Cathedral, and we're all set up to do this shoot, and security comes out and informs us that we need a permit. Well, technically, we did not need a permit, but this guy was giving us trouble, and we were in public property. We had checked beforehand. We weren't doing anything wrong, but this guy was insisting, and I was able to take out my iPhone, and I've got the little iPhone creator kit. I was able to plug in a small 1 terabyte SSD, put on a variable ND filter, and it's blowing my mind how good this looks. Recording Apple ProRes RAW for all of you video guys out there on my phone, on this hard drive, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I love the iPhones. I'm totally sold out to the Max Pro specifically. That happened to us in Israel a couple of years ago.
Yes,
remember?
That's right.
They're like, you can't film here. We're like, all right. We just whip out our phone. It was awesome. It's like such a hack.
Yeah, shooting 4K, and you're not getting that shallow depth of field. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do with a phone. But for that kind of stuff, and for doing something like this, rather than show up and we've got to pull out lights and we've got to hook up all this kind of stuff, to bring your phone out, stick it on a tripod.
I know.
And these wireless
it's really
mics.
handy.
Yeah, it's great.
What I like about it is that it's always on me.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I'm like, this would be a cool video, and I'm able to. Whereas before I used to be like, oh, it's such a cool video. I didn't bring my mic. I didn't bring this. I didn't bring that. Now that took care of that.
Yeah.
So you've been traveling recently. You're in Paris. You're in England. Where else have you been? What are you doing? What
this year, we've got a lot going on. So this year I was all over the States. I was in Texas, New York, Washington, and then more recently England and Paris. I'll be in Ottawa soon, possibly Rome later this year, and maybe back to the Bahamas.
Nice.
As you know, we have a YouTube channel called RecWatch TV. And on RecWatch TV, we focus on shipwrecks and ocean exploration and all of that cool underwater diving stuff.
Yeah.
We like to tell shipwreck mysteries, ghost ship stories, that kind of thing. And last year, we were able to get the first ever permission to dive in the Bahamas and look for pirate archaeology. And I can tell you, because we're getting close to the release date, I can tell you that we did find some stuff. We found some very interesting shipwrecks, and we are getting ready to release a number of YouTube episodes called The Mystery of the Pirate King's Treasure, where we are looking for the ship called the Fancy, which belonged to Henry Avery, also known as the Pirate King. So if you don't know anything about Henry Avery, make sure you go to RecWatch TV and hit subscribe and be ready for when we drop these very cool videos. The first ever permitted archaeological search in the Bahamian waters.
Nice. I saw the trailer. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I was like, dang, this looks real good.
It's exciting. To go to the Bahamas for 3 weeks and dive, but actually dive with purpose. We have something that we want to do. We're trying to find all of this archaeology. It's amazing that the Bahamas, as a nation, they haven't really done anything, to look at their pirate history, to really explore that. And if you have watched, the series Black Sails, that all takes place in Nassau. And while Black Sails is a fictional series, it's based on real people, it's based on real events, it's based on some real history, and they've taken kind of a fictional thing.
Yeah.
But Nassau, the Bahamas, that is where the golden age of piracy really started. And if you think of any pirate that you've ever heard of, Black Sam Bellaby, Blackbeard, and Mary Read, Anne Bonny, Charles Vane, all these pirates that we see in movies and we read about in books, they were all there at that time in Nassau.
Yeah.
And we are doing
awesome.
some very cool stuff.
Very cool. Yeah. So you have that going on, and you work with a lot of TV shows, not movies per se, but documentaries.
Yeah, I'm moving more into the independent documentaries.
Okay.
So I have done stuff with History Channel and Lawrence Fishburne's show, History's Greatest Mysteries. I did an episode of that a number of years ago. But I'm doing more independent documentaries, which is great, but also terrifying, because that means it's more of my own projects. And that means that you're not really getting paid until it's done.
Okay, I love that you're doing the documentaries. You're a very good filmmaker, but was it in February, my husband and I were in the States in Fort Lauderdale, flipping through the channels. We saw you on camera, not behind camera. Let's talk about that switch.
Okay.
So usually you're the one telling people what to do, mocking them when they don't do it right. No, just joking.
No, I do, yeah.
And then
you've seen it.
So now you're in front of the camera. That must be a massive shift.
Yeah, it is very strange to be in front of the camera more, because first of all, you have this picture in your head of what you look like, and I picture myself like an even better looking Tom Cruise, and then when I see myself on camera, I'm like that's not how I look in my mind. So it's a little humbling, but at the same time it's a lot more fun, because because you can be a little bit more creative, and you can be the one telling the story, and it is kind of cool when people recognize you.
Oh, it's so cool.
But yeah, that was my first time really being in front of the camera, and that's happening more with, say, Rec Watch. We're outside, so somebody's doing some leaf blowing, so you might be hearing that in your audio right now. AI will fix it all.
Yeah, AI can do everything. We don't even need to be here right now. It's not even us right now.
That's
it's just
right.
robots.
Yep. But it's kind of cool being in front of the camera, but it also adds a new layer of stress, right? Because now I have to, I have to know what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier to stand behind the camera and tell the person in front of it, no, say it like this.
Yeah.
But when you're actually in front, you realize, ooh, this is not as easy as it looks. So if you're watching this from wherever you're watching it, on a TV or on a phone or a computer, you could be an armchair director real easy. Armchair talent. If I was in front of the camera, I would have known what to say. But you have to know your stuff. And I don't always know my stuff. You can fake it to a degree, and hopefully I'm doing that right now.
Yeah. I know there's something when you see that red light go off. I can easily speak in front of a crowd, but once it's okay, you need to talk about this in front of the camera and then send us the video, it's a different ball game. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is weird, and I've seen it working with different talent over the years, and some really, really talented people. And and off camera, if we're doing an interview with somebody who's passionate about their subject matter, and off camera you have a conversation, you think, oh my goodness, this person's amazing. And then you get them in front of the camera, they know what they're supposed to say, and then that red light goes on, and suddenly your mind just draws a blank, and you're trying to put stuff together. That's something that I've noticed that I really need to work on, especially when I'm on camera with my friend Sean Kingsley.
Yeah.
So Dr. Sean Kingsley, who's my partner in Rec Watch, the guy is brilliant. He's a genius, and he's so fast. His mind works so fast, and he knows his material so well that I'm just kind of standing there trying to catch up, because he's just boom, 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 rapid firing stuff off, and he's pulling in cultural references, and he's so quick-witted that I just stand there looking like a buffoon. So
no, you don't.
Well,
he is fast. He's good. But it's not wait, these two don't match at all when you're watching.
Hopefully.
Unless that's your good directing and editing.
Everything's fixed in post, right? So,
everything's fixable.
Yeah, that's right.
Funny. All right, so when it comes, a lot of my audience would be entrepreneurs or people who want to get on camera. What tips would you give to people who are getting on camera for the first time?
So getting on camera for the first time, if it's your very first time standing in front of the lens and you have to deliver something, first of all, know your material. Take the time, practice. Think about what is it that you want to say, write it out, practice in the mirror. If you think you're going to wing it,
it never works. It never works.
Yeah, what it does is it puts a whole lot more stress on the shoot date, and it puts a whole lot more stress on the editor.
Yeah.
Because now the editor has to fix everything in post. So prepare, practice. Record yourself. If you have the time, record yourself. See how you look on camera. See how you're coming across. Are you delivering the way you think you're delivering? And start to understand that the way you look and sound in your mind is not the way you look and sound on camera. You know, my daughter Faith, when she was little, I remember recording her and we'd play it back and she'd be so mad at us because she's like, my voice doesn't sound like that. Like, yeah, it does. That's the way we hear you. So you kind of have to get over that ego and stuff. And also know, and I know you've experienced this, that how you look is how you look.
Yeah.
We're not doing any camera tricks. So if you want to look better, then, you know,
get to that makeup room before the camera starts.
Get to the gym.
Okay, that's a lot. People are just really insecure. I'm like, listen, you don't know how you look and sound per se, but we know how you look and sound, and we've been listening to you for the last like 25 years. Just get on camera. Like, no one's as hard on themselves as we are on ourselves. Like, we are our own worst critic by far. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, first of all, the first couple of videos are going to be horrible because it's just intense to like try something new. Second of all, people watching you are like genuinely for you.
Yes.
And we're not being like, oh, he said too many times. Oh, they did that. We're like, oh my gosh, so cool, you're on TV, or I saw this video of you. And that's what I get all the time.
Yeah.
They're not critiquing me because I'll be like, oh, my cadence was a little off. I should have stood like this.
Yeah.
But really, they're like, oh, I saw you on your podcast. It was so neat.
Right. Yeah. You're going to look at yourself a lot more critical than the rest of the world is.
Yeah, for sure.
Although there's sometimes, no, I mean, you and I are in the business, so we watch TV and watch videos differently.
Yeah, it ruins, once you learn the magic behind the camera, it ruins things. I was literally saying that to someone the other day. I can't remember what they do, but I'm like, did it ruin it for you? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, now when I watch TV, I see like the lower thirds, and sometimes I'll be like, that's not a lower third. Why did they put it over there? Or why didn't they do this with the font? Yeah. And then it kind of like wrecked it for me in a sense, because now I'm watching, but also critiquing. I'm like, that was a choice. Interesting. I wonder why they did that. And they're like, yeah, actually, now that you say that, that's what happens.
Yeah, so. Yeah, you can't unsee it once you've been behind the lens.
Yeah,
and you put it together. But yeah, I would also say that, you know, think about what you're wearing. Obviously, I did not think about what I'm wearing for this today, but you know, you and I have worked with people where they show up a little bit unkempt and their shirt's untucked, and maybe they've got a larger belly, and suddenly, you know, what seems fine and natural normal life, suddenly that looks like a maternity shirt. And,
or not that. Like, one time we were filming in the desert, so everything is brown in the desert. Brown. The guy showed up with a tan shirt. And it's like, ooh.
Just disappeared. You're camouflaged.
Now you're just a floating head.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like that kind of stuff. And that's where the planning comes in, and hopefully you have a team that does it. But a lot of times there is no team, so you have to take that into consideration. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So just putting some thought into your message, how you want to deliver it, and how you want to look while delivering it. If you can do those three things and plan ahead and practice, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be sitting pretty for sure.
Yeah.
All right, something I ask all of my guests on my podcast is, what is your bucket list job? So not on your bucket list, but if you could do anything, what would you be doing?
Like outside of my current field?
Yeah, like currently you do whatever. Unless you're like, no, I want to go all in on being on TV. I love it. That's fine.
I wouldn't say I want to be all in on TV. I love travel.
Yeah.
I love learning. I love exploring. So in a sense, my job is kind of giving me that bucket list thing, and I'm getting to do some very cool stuff, from, you know, doing filming underwater and being part of expeditions to interviewing some celebrities who didn't talk about the music documentaries I'm doing right now. But I don't know. I just love the whole experience. I just wish that I didn't have to worry about fundraising or the money side of it. I think that would be my bucket list, is to just be able to do the stories that I want to do and not have to worry about money.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yep. That's always the barrier, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so how can people follow you if they want to follow your journey?
Well, on Instagram at Chris Atkins Photography. I think it's the same on Facebook, Chris Atkins Photography. Check out our YouTube channel, RecWatch TV. That's all one word, RecWatch space TV. And I have my own YouTube channel. I can't remember if it's just Chris Atkins or if it's One Media Canada. OneMedia.ca is the website. And but if you search for Chris Atkins Canada or One Media Canada, you'll find my YouTube, where I haven't been doing too much on that. I need to be doing more. That's been kind of the challenge I've had lately, is I do camera reviews, like gear reviews. I also do some travel vlogs. But you'll notice I haven't posted a video in a while. I've got some coming, but the problem is I've just been so busy.
Yeah, you've been everywhere.
Yeah, doing all of this other stuff that I haven't been able to keep up on the YouTube side. But that's going to be changing soon, I hope.
Yeah, sweet. All right, so give them a watch. Thank you for tuning in. If you need to get better on camera, hopefully this helped you, and we'll talk to you later.